Since it started aggressively raising interest rates earlier this year, the Federal Reserve has promised to defeat inflation with a soft landing for the U.S. economy. In other words, they are trying to reduce inflation to 2% without sparking a recession. But economists and the general public have serious doubts about the ability of the Federal Reserve to achieve that goal. Economists are now speculating that the Federal Reserve is targeting what they call a growth recession. This video continues our coverage of the continuing moves of the Federal Reserve. So, what exactly is a growth recession? What does it mean for inflation? What does it mean for unemployment? What does it mean for the U.S. economy? And, what does it mean for the future of the United States? But, before we get into all of that, please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. The Federal Reserve has raised interest rates 4 times so far in 2022. The stated objective is to cool the U.S. economy and to defeat inflation. The Federal Reserve has promised to defeat inflation without sending the U.S. economy into a recession and thereby creating a so-called soft landing for consumers and the entire U.S. economy. But many economists now say that the Fed is targeting what they call a growth recession. And that could bring a lot more economic and financial pain to average Americans. Last week, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell delivered a high-profile speech at the annual U.S. Economic Forum in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Powell said, "The U.S. economy will likely experience some pain as the central bank continues its battle with inflation." Diane Swonk, the chief economist at KPMG, told Bloomberg, "In my mind, these comments signal that the Fed has given up on its hopes for a soft landing." The Fed now recognizes that a growth recession is necessary to reduce inflation, meaning that the Fed will need to slow economic growth to well below its potential, Swonk continued. "It's a bit like dripping water torture," she continued. "It is a tortuous process but less tortuous and less painful than an abrupt recession," Swonk continued. President of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland Loretta Mester said, "I believe that the Fed has more work to do in order to get inflation under control. This will entail further rate increases to tighten financial conditions, resulting in an economic transition to below-trend growth in nominal output, slower employment growth, and a higher unemployment rate," Mester continued. "I believe that the Fed funds rate will move to 4% by early 2023, and then remain there for some time," Mester further continued. "I do not anticipate the Fed cutting the Fed funds rate target next year," Mester also noted. The term, growth recession, was originally invented by economist Solomon Fabricant. Fabricant was a professor at New York University and chief economic advisor to President Dwight Eisenhower. Fabricant used the term, growth recession, to refer to a recession that is much worse than an economic slowdown. Comerica Bank chief economist Bill Adams said, "The Fed may even need to go a step further than Fabricant's growth recession, to bring inflation all the way back to its 2% target." The European energy crisis and ongoing heat waves are currently exacerbating worldwide inflation, Adams also noted. Wall Street analysts are betting that the Federal Reserve will stay the course of its aggressive path of interest rate increases to defeat inflation. This comes even as the unemployment rate is ticking up and layoffs are sweeping the U.S. economy. The U.S. Labor Department released a report showing that employers added 315,000 jobs in July, which is more than expected. The Labor Department report also showed that the U.S. unemployment rate increased to 3.7% from 3.5% because more people joined the workforce. Wall Street analysts are also expecting that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates by 75 basis points at its September meeting. "Overall, I don't think it changes the hand for the Fed as it goes into the September meeting," said Charlie Ripley, Allianz Investment Management senior investment strategist. 75 basis points is still on the table, according to Ripley. Chairman Jerome Powell said that Fed will raise interest rates high enough to curb economic growth, soften the labor market, and reduce inflation. But he has not spoken definitively about the size of the interest rate hike coming in September. But consumer prices are rising at more than 6% annualized, which is 3 times the Federal Reserve inflation target of 2%. That is the highest rate of inflation in 40 years. So, the inflation rate will be the primary consideration of the Federal Reserve. That means that layoffs will continue and unemployment will keep rising. But, what do you think? Please leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.